All right, this is the Baseball Unlimited update. Hello, everybody. Brian Professor B. Davis, and good evening to you guys, wherever you're watching Baseball Unlimited. It's a great day here, of course. Earlier this afternoon, the USF Dons winning the West Coast Conference Championship earlier this afternoon up at Patterson Sports Baseball Complex up in Spokane, Washington, on the campus of the University of Gonzaga. The USF Dons winning the West Coast Conference, bested the Gonzaga Bulldogs 4-2 Sunday afternoon to finish conference play with a record of 16-5 to win their second league championship. First time in 5 years at the USF Dons. The last time they won it, of course, was 2006. This is, in fact, the first time ever the USF Dons have won the West Coast Conference outright. Of course, they won it in 2006, which they shared the regular season title with the Pepperdine Waves. But as a result, the Dons took 2 out of 3 down in Malibu that year. The USF Dons earned the right, because of the tiebreaker, to host the West Coast Conference, then the West Coast Conference Championship Series in a 2 out of 3 series. They're going to lose the West Coast Conference Championship Series in 3 games, but one way or the other, the Dons had enough to earn their first ever West Coast Conference NCAA, or their NCAA regional berth. That year, of course, they played the University of Miami, one of the top programs in the country. They lost the first game of that series, so as a result of that loss, the USF Dons fell in the losers bracket. Then, because of and they end up eliminating the top seed, the national 8 seed, Nebraska Cornhuskers, in that elimination game, but eliminating the Nebraska Cornhuskers. But then they lost to Manhattan to end their season. So we're going to recap for today's series as the Dons winning by a score. They finished 4-2, finished 16-5, their second league championship, first in 5 years. Along with the title, the Dons finished the West Coast Conference with a 16-5 record, 31-23. It marks, by the way, the 4th time in the last 7 years that the USF Dons finished with at least 30 wins or more. They earned the West Coast Conference automatic bid to the NCAA tournament, and the Dons never trailed in the ball game. And junior Nick Baylog led off the second inning with a solo home run to right center field. Catcher Travis Higgs followed with an infield single, and then moved up the second on a sacrifice bunt from Ted LeMasters. And on third on a ground out, Jason Mahood executed a push bunt to right side to score Higgs. Pete Levine sent Mahood to third on a full count, double down the right field line. Connor Burnett singled to right field to send Mahood home. Gonzaga got back with a run in the bottom of the third, but USF added another run in the 7th. Adam Clear reached on an error and advanced to second on a play. Mahood notched in his second base hit of the ball game to push Clear to third, and Levine hit a sacrifice fly to right center field to make the score and put his team up to 4-1. Then the Bulldogs threatened in the bottom of the 7th after loading the bases with 1 out. Junior left-hander Jordan Reamer fooled back-to-back Gonzaga hitters to end the inning with 2 strikeouts. Gonzaga pressed again in the bottom of the 8th with the bases loaded with just 1 out. Reamer got Marco Gonzalez a fly out and then struck out Steven Humberg looking. Then USF Friday starter Kyle Zimmer entered the game in the bottom of the 9th to ice the win for the Dons. Zimmer earned his first save of the season after pitching an inning where he fanned both teams and held breath on every pitch. Reamer earned a win after yielding just 1 run with 3 hits with 5 strikeouts in 4 2/3 innings of work. Starter Jonathan Abramson went 3 2/3 innings, striking out 2, giving up 4 hits and 1 earned run. With Matt Lujan and Garrett Leopold out today, Matt Lujan, but both of those guys were out. Those guys had worked. It felt like Jared Thomas said, we felt like Abramson was the guy. He pitched great and went to Reamer at the right time. Mahood went 2 for 3 with a walk and batted in a nice spot. Yarrow collected a pair of hits. Levine hit his 18th double of the season, which put him in the tie for 8th best on the single-season doubles list. So there you have it. The USF Dons are the champions of the West Coast Conference. As we look at the standings, we're going to quickly look at the standings in the West Coast Conference. So it's USF finishing up 16-5. They finished first. Gonzaga finished their season 15-6, one game behind your USF Dons in the West Coast Conference, 32-19-1. They're going to be on the bubble. They're going to have to wait, sweat it out another 24 hours. Wait till tomorrow morning to see their fate with the NCAA committee. The only way they could get in was the other teams are on the bubble, depending what they did in their championship, and see how many teams bubble's going to burst if they're going to get in. Also rounding out the West Coast Conference, Portland finishes with 11-10 record. Or they finished tied for third. Actually, it was a three-way tie. Portland 11-10, 24-30 overall. San Diego 11-10, 22-31 overall. St. Mary's 9-12, 27-28 overall. Pepperdine 7-14, 22-34 overall. And Santa Clara finishing in the basement in the West Coast Conference, a 4-17 record in West Coast Conference play and 17-34 overall. And we're gonna right now check out some other baseball limited stuff. The 2011 NCAA regionals have already been announced earlier today, and the 16 sites for the 2011 championship has been released. And here are the top teams. Top 8 teams, remember, there's a 16 regional sites. 8 of the 16 teams, the top 8 teams in the country will get the top 8 national seeds. Will get to host the regional, and of course, if they win the regional, they'll host a super regional. And here are that they're going to be the regional host, and we're going to scroll all the way down. And this is what it is. And the top 8 seeds will be, and this is how it goes. By being awarded a regional, all 16 host institutions have been selected for a 64-team field. Each regional features 4 teams playing in a double elimination format. All 16 regionals are scheduled to be conducted Friday, June 3rd to Monday, June 6th. 3 institutions will be hosting for the 20th time or more, as Florida State leads the school list with 28. Texas is hosting for the 26th time, and this will be the 21st time that Arizona State will be hosting a regional. Clemson and South Carolina are hosting for the 13th time. Georgia Tech, 11th. Cal State Fullerton for the 10th time. Florida for the 10th time. Only other institutions that host 10 or more since the NCAA went to the regional format back in 1975. Rice will be hosting for a 9th time, while Texas A&M will be hosting a regional for the 7th time, and North Carolina for a 6th time. Virginia is hosting for a 5th time, while Oregon State, TCU, UCLA hosting a 3rd time. Rounding out the list is Vanderbilt hosting for only the 2nd time. 9 institutions: Arizona State, Cal State Fullerton, Florida, Georgia Tech, South Carolina, Texas, TCU, UCLA, and Virginia all hosted in 2010 last year. 3 of the main at-large teams' top 8 national seeds. First round regional pairings and assignments will be announced at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday, May 30th. That will be tomorrow morning at 9:30 on the West Coast. By the way, the USF Dons baseball team will be at the Republic Bar. They welcome you to the Republic Bar to see where the Dons will be headed for a regional. It will be at 9 a.m. It will open 9:30. The regional show will be announced. And it's located at 3213 Scott Street. That's 3213, the Republic Bar, 3213 for all our viewers listening in San Francisco. 3213 Scott Street between Lombard and Chestnut Streets in the city of San Francisco. So We'll be Baseball Unlimited. We'll be down on the scene later tonight as we'll have the team welcome in, and we'll be getting some audio stuff from that. And so the half-hour program will be shown on ESPN HD. The committee will be set the entire 64-team bracket through both the Super Regionals and the first round of the Men's College World Series, and will be no reseed after the field play begins. Selection of the Super Regional hosts will be announced on ncaa.com/college CWS, known as College World Series, Monday, June 6th, approximately at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The 30 Division I conferences will receive an automatic bid in the field of 64, along with the 34 at-large selections. The 65th Men's College World Series will begin play Saturday, June 18th at the new TD Ameritrade Park in Omaha, Nebraska. So, pretty much a lot's going on, and there will be, and these are the following teams will be hosting regionals for the conference. There'll be 5 from the ACC, and those 5 teams from the Atlantic Coast Conference. It will be Clemson, Florida State, Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Virginia. From the Pac-10, it'll be Arizona State, Oregon State, and UCLA. From the Southeast, Florida, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. Big 12, Texas and Texas A&M. From the Big West, Cal State Fullerton, Rice from Conference USA, and from the Mountain West, TCU. So we got a lot's going on here on Baseball Unlimited. We're just giving you a full update. And before we let's check out some baseball regional scoreboard. A lot of teams early today, conference championships. USF, of course, winning the West Coast Conference Championship. First time they've ever won it outright. Second time they'll be going to a regional. First in 5 years. First time they've ever won it outright. We're going to check out some of the baseball scores right now as we get a chance before we head out because we're going to put together another before we take a break as the USF Dons are in the regionals and trying to get to the scoreboard. A lot of teams are fighting for championships today, and it could not be happier for the USF. For the second time in their history, they'll be going to the NCAA regionals. So a lot's going on. I mean, it's pretty much simple for those of you who don't follow college baseball. You'll be put in it's a double elimination. You could lose 2 games in the first 2 rounds of a series. In the first 2 rounds, once in each round, we could lose 2 games in the first 2 rounds and still make it to Omaha. 2 losses in a double elimination format, then you're gone. So it's a lot's going on. Lots going on. Teams are pretty much fighting to get that large berth, and right now we're just going to take a brief timeout. Once again, your USF Dons are the champions of the West Coast Conference. They win 4-2 this afternoon over the Gonzaga Bulldogs. USF finishing up the season very strong with winning 16 games, going 16-5 in West Coast Conference play, while 16-5 to the Gonzaga Bulldogs, dropping their record to 16 or 15-5, 15-6. So we'll take this brief time out, and you're watching Baseball Unlimited on YouTube. We'll take this time out. We'll be right back.